All right, let's go. So we are on day 49. As you can see, yesterday we had day 48. That was the last one. And we were talking about risk. And today I want to talk about how to attract clients instead of like chasing, even though it should be a mix. And let me clarify, because with paid ads, which this series is all about, right? Running paid ads, showing how they work. And one thing to keep in mind with paid ads is that you are trying actually to chase someone, but they are the ones who actually have to come to you, meaning that they only click if they are interested. So that's why paid ads is one of the most interesting channels, I would say, because it's a mix of you actually wanting to attract, actually to chase clients, right? But you are actually attracting them. And to give a different perspective here, basically on one spectrum, if you think of content, right? By creating content, you actually attract people because you don't know who you're speaking with. For example, I can see who's a viewer of this YouTube video, who's a viewer of an Instagram reel or anything like that, right? You might be able to see who likes it and who comments, but that's about it, right? And basically, if someone is interested when you're posting organic content, they will come to you. So that's how you attract. And at the same time, you can also chase, but it's not the most enjoyable. And why am I saying that? Well, at least for me, I don't really like DMing people out of the blue and being, let's say, needy, right? Because the goal actually when reaching out to someone is to ask them questions, see if you might be able to help them, and also try to book a call in most cases, because you kind of need to book a call to have a conversation there, to understand the pain points, how you might be able to help. And that's why it's always ideal to have multiple things running and just not overthink. Because, like I said, I don't like cold DMing or cold emailing, but I have those channels out there and I don't have any problem having them, right? Because think of it like this. If you know you have a good service to offer, if you have a good product, a good service, why would you not want to be out there, right? So that's why I have no shame in asking, even though I don't really like it, right? That's why in most cases I do prefer working with an appointment setter, because they handle this and they are not as emotional, right? Like they don't really care as much. And sometimes that's a superpower, not actually caring about the fact that you're doing something that doesn't feel comfortable, but that's how you actually get results. Even how much you grow in life. It's all about the amount of uncomfortable conversations that you can have. So these are all just reminders to myself as well. If it helps you, that's a big bonus, because I'm not necessarily trying to teach here as much as document. And if it's helpful, right, then you can take it away and actually implement it in your life, right? Whatever I'm saying right now. So coming back to the main subject of this video, how to attract clients. Well, basically one way is to try to do your thing, right? So if it's media buying, content creation, UGC creation, create emails, creating whatever spreadsheets, right? Doing discounted cash flows. We're already going into different industries now. But whatever you're doing, right, you can do that thing and you can actually like document it, post about it in written form, have a podcast, so talk about it, have guests if that's what you prefer. So there are so many ways to actually put out there what you are doing, because you're still doing something, right? You're still, let's say, taking notes, making plans, plotting and scheming. For example, right now I do need to get my website up. So for example, I do have one for my agency and I do have my domain for like from 2021. And it's basically paid until 2031. Like, yeah, I'm not sure how much it costs. Probably not that much. maybe $200 for like 10 years, probably something like that. And the thing is that I've never really put in the time into it because it's not a priority. That's for sure. It's not a priority. However, how much would it take? Probably 10 hours to finish it. It's just that it takes so much mental energy, right? It's just like, let's say you work with a video editor. He gives you back the first draft, and after seeing the first draft, you say, man, this is trash. And then for the next 30 minutes or the full day, your attention is just fully distracted because you're still thinking about that thing, right? That's why it's super important in most cases to just have a few important things to focus on that move the needle, right? So for example, to attract clients, what can you do? Well, post content. That's always helpful. And it's also about how you frame it, right? Because it's easy to do it if you don't feel like someone is necessarily watching or judging you and so on, right? Because at the end of the day, like most people still are holding themselves back because of fear, right? There's some kind of fear there. Fear of success, for example. If you know that you need to eventually make, or you might be able to make $2 million, maybe let's say 500K a month, right? And that's like 5 million a year, 6 million a year, actually, if we do the math, right? That is possible in today's world, right? You sell something high ticket and so on, but you pretty much know you'd have to build a team. You'd have to sell some of your time, let's say. At one point maybe you might not have that income coming, so you would go up and then go down in terms of revenue and profit, right? So there are so many fears that like you can't even put on paper, but they are there in your mind when you are thinking of taking like a small next step, right? Because first you have to go from like $0 to $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $2,000, and so on, right? So there is a process. You gain skills, you learn how to do your job well, right? In most cases, like if you know how to use a hammer, then you know how to sell someone on why they need that hammer in order for you to actually charge more, right? So that is where, when you know how to sell and also have a good skill, that's when you multiply how much you can make. And then of course you stack and stack and stack, because let's stay at that example with the hammer. Then you build a team of people that can actually do the hammering thing, whatever it is. And then basically you get a margin for like every person that works for you, right? For every employee, just like Apple. They pay someone on average, I think maybe 100K, 150K, but they make per employee around they make 1 million, minimum of 1 million at this point from what I know. So my mistake, therefore, thinking it's a lower amount. And then you'll have companies like Meta, like Google, who are also, I think, in the $1 million range. So of course they'll pay someone 150K and so on if they make like a 10 multiple on that. But with all of that being said, let's not forget this series is all about paid ads. So let me show you what's been happening. So today is Saturday. I'll actually have some carbs. Usually I don't have carbs. That's why I'm so fucking skinny right now, because I'm eating more so for the mental focus. And usually you have to pick. Do you want to have your mental focus as high as possible? Sometimes you shouldn't even eat if you want that. Or do you want to look like bodybuilder and so on, right? And then of course you need like every 3 hours or so. Probably you'd also need some testosterone and so on, right? Just because it enhances what you do. Although that's not ideal, and I haven't done it yet, so we'll see about that. And with all of that being said, let's switch the camera and look at the ad account. All right, so now that we're back, let's look at the ad account. So if we look firstly at yesterday, we have 3 campaigns here. So this one is sending to the website, to the agency website. This is starting an IG combo, and this is sending to a VSL. So something interestingly enough, I don't know why this VSL one is spending so much. I understand it's a higher quality audience, and I mean, yeah, it's very hard to say why Meta is doing this. So I might actually stop it, but it might find relevant people. It has a good cost per click and click-through rate here, so 3.43, which is not bad considering that this is high ticket and everything. And today, yeah, everything going slower for sure. So let's actually look at this real quick, because I do believe that this one is overspending. So I will actually pause it right now, real time with you, because I also believe that, as you can see here, it has the highest CPM, and I think it's also due to the fact that people actually land on that page and they actually need to see a video. So this might actually take quite some traffic, so I'm just pausing it because I do think there's a better strategy here. And actually same here when sending to the agency website, like this is not the worst because it's still traffic that can be retargeted later. My English is going down here right now. So I believe that the IG combo one will also work as a retargeting ad eventually, because let's not forget with ads that they won't just see one ad. They might see multiple ones and from multiple ad sets. And that's where you actually start to get more data and grow your audience. So you're basically investing in actually getting in front of some people. But that's pretty much it for today. Saturdays and Sundays usually are slower, so not exactly much to say. So let me switch the camera again. All right, so we're back for the final few minutes here, maybe 2 minutes. But as you can see, things are going slow, but you have to get used to this. Even if you make YouTube videos. Right now, I think I made over 80, right? Because I started on December. Yeah, I think I started on December 1st, and I think I might have had a few videos before that, but they're probably unlisted. They are from like 2021 maybe, and I think they were about motivation and stuff like that. So not as useful for most people who are into business, I would say, although actually mindset is the biggest thing in business. But that's another combo. First, most people like need to get rich, then they realize that it's not actually the money, but you kind of first need the money to have enough time and energy to focus on other things. So with that being said, let's keep it short, although the first part was long enough as is. But yeah, it's definitely a mix when you want to attract clients, because you also need to do your own thing, right? And that's why it's important to post online, because that's you just doing something that you would do anyway. And I'm not saying that about posting. So that's why ideally you start posting even if you're not good at posting, because over time you will get better at posting as well. And that's when you will also start to attract the right people. But it's a process. Yeah, you could start off with the right strategy from the beginning, but that's maybe putting too much pressure on yourself, and that's usually not ideal. So that's why the easiest way to attract is not to care that much, as you might know from everything in life. And with that being said, I guess we'll end it with those wise words. And until next time, wishing you all the best and see you tomorrow. Peace out.